Welcome back, everyone. Happy Juneteenth. So as you guys know, this is Black Independence Day. Shout out to all the kings and queens out there. Keep doing your thing. Keep striving for greatness, and keep making yourself better day in and day out. So a couple fun facts about Juneteenth. Joe Biden signed this as a national holiday, or federal holiday, excuse me. So this became a federal holiday in 2021 on June 17th. You can't tell, we were on vacation, so I'm still getting back in the swing of things. And this became the first new federal holiday since Martin Luther King Day. So that was created in 1983. So it's a little fun facts about Juneteenth there. So as you guys know, even though slavery was abolished, a lot of parts of the U.S. still practiced and still had slavery. So it took some time for that to actually go away in full. So we were still seeing some our brothers and sisters, our ancestors, still going through slavery when it was abolished, because you couldn't really, there was no like social media or anything like that at the time. So how did you really know without traveling, going to check X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be, however they did it. But, we're here today. One of my recent videos, I even put out there that, we're starting to see some more black investors entering the market, myself included. So, that's always fantastic to see. So we're really seeing the push of social media and things like that push out information faster to the younger generations, which is starting to show in the data, according to Yahoo Finance, on, the growth of black investors. So, we are making strides. We got to keep, educating each other, keep, helping each other, build within our communities, things of that nature. So, continue striving for greatness. And here we go. Disclaimer: the information provided on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice. We are not licensed financial professionals, and any opinions shared are based on personal experiences and research. As always, do your own due diligence and consult with a certified financial advisor or professional before making any investment decisions. All right, so family vacation was great, man. Father's Day was amazing. Father's Day is always amazing. Cherish those moments, man. Cherish those moments, because before you know it, kids grow up. People say that. I'm like, man, it's whatever. But it's fast. It does snap like that, right? So enjoy the moment. As you know, I always talk about saving for your future, but you do need to reward yourself in the present, because that's going to just keep pushing you to, for you to want more, right? So enjoy the time now. Soak it all in, and then we get back to work. That's how it goes. We get back to work. Just because today's the markets are closed due to Juneteenth, but just because I was on vacation, the markets aren't on vacation. So I still took some time to make sure I checked in on everything. I actually bought in. Again, like if you guys watch my older videos, I always talk about fractional shares. So, while the market was, volatile, but then, I bought into some that's a REIT, a real estate REIT. So I bought into that, pays out quarterly dividends, and, over the past 30 years, their payouts just keep increasing over time. So I got into that. I'll even talk about here how I reallocated the real estate index that had infidelity from last year and how I allocated to buy into O. So, I'll go over that as well. I really caught the dip, and it's really paying off. Again, I'm just getting started. I have other things that I need to pay, but you always got to reallocate, right? So you always got to reallocate. While the market was down like that, I'm gonna put a pause, just a little bit of a pause on my snowball method, because I want to get in. I want to get into the market. I want to get in while it's low. I bought in last year just to get started. That took a dip, so I want to take some extra funds and put in. So we're not talking about thousands of dollars or nothing like that, right? Just a couple hundred here and there. That's what I essentially end up doing, and it paid out. So, here we go. All right, so check in. So what we're really going to discuss right now is what's going on. What have I gotten into? So for those who've been following me, I relaunched our candle business. So me and my wife, we did relaunch our candle business. So we end up using some credit for that. For me personally, I'm not scared to go into debt, because I know I basically educated myself on the space. Will it work out? Who knows, right? That's for it to be decided. But I also know what my comfortability level was and what made sense for me to take out. So we did take up about 2 to 3K to go ahead and try to relaunch the business, because you got to think, you got your state fees, you got your process and system fees. If you use Canva, things like that, you got those type of fees. We use Etsy, so we have to pay a fee on that. If you use a website, if you use Spotify, you got to pay a fee on that, right? So cash is going to be king right now, because we need cash to make sure everything's covered as we continue to grow. And over time, hopefully, we're going to see the business start to, basically turn and kind of support itself. So, what I end up doing is, if the business did fail, again, knock on wood, it doesn't, but let's just say it did fail, then I would be okay covering the amount of money I put to relaunch it, right? So that's the thing, right? I was like, okay, well, let me readjust my plan a little bit that I had before starting to relaunch. And again, like I've been looking into doing this since like December, November, and we relaunched about a month ago. So, it took a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of money. But I feel like, the time we spent away, we came back better and stronger. And you got to spend money to make money. You can't be cheap in this space. I think that's what really derailed us last time, is because we weren't in the position we are now, when it comes to financially. So we were just trying to be as cheap as possible about it, which ended up hurting more than helping. So you just got to be smart about it. Educate yourself, do your research, do your books. Make sure you're up top of your bookkeeping for those who do have a business. Because those taxes, they do kill. We had to learn the hard way. So just make sure, even if you get a bookkeeper to do it, I promise you paying that bookkeeper is going to be much cheaper than paying for any like late fee or messing up on the tax return through your business. I guarantee you the amount of money you pay to that bookkeeper throughout the year would probably be cheaper than that. On top of, if you miss a late fee, if you miss the deadline, the IRS is going to charge you a hefty late fee. So that's the update for the business. We will be in Charlestown this weekend, so we are going to be setting up for Summer Extravaganza. I'm really excited for this event. I think, our niche really fits the event, so I'm really excited for the turnout there. And then we're going to continue going what I'm doing in my stock space. So, all right, so we're at the fun part now, right? All right, so we're going to talk about stocks. So my positions last year, so I started February 22nd. Let me see. Yeah, February 22nd, 2024, and we're midway through 2025. So I just want to do a check-in to see, basically how far that I've came within these, this about, year and 4 months. So not quite for me personally at a halfway year mark, but we are halfway through the calendar year. So let's go over it. Last year I started with $1,000 into the markets, just bought in anywhere I can. I just woke up one day and just said, why not? Work, they do pay out a nice little bonus, a yearly bonus for performance. So I took just $1,000 of that and got started, just to get my feet in the water, right? Get my foot in the door. And once I start seeing the growth, I'm like, hold on, let me go ahead and start paying myself more. So in 2025, I made this plan to pay myself first. So I'm going to pay myself first more, and then I'll worry about all the extra activities and things like that. So let's look in. So my year to date right now, I'm currently up on the market 8.4% compared to S&P, which is currently at 2.34% year to date according to my Fidelity. So how did I get there? All right, so a couple things. I diversified my portfolio a little bit this year. So I had a real estate index through Fidelity that I bought into last year. Had a couple long-term positions. So I sold those long-term positions out of that index and I bought into O. So let's talk about it. Let's go over it. So the reason why I bought into O was because it's real estate. It's a REIT. So it's a real estate REIT. And I wanted to get, real estate into my portfolio. So I just bought into O. I think I bought into it when it's in my positions. I got into it when it's like $55. Now it's currently at $57.58. So I didn't buy into it that much of the dip, but the purpose why I got O is because it pays out a really nice monthly dividend. The past 30 years, their dividend has been increasing, so their payouts has gone up the past 30 years. So I'm like, all right, they got 30 years of history, so why not, right? Again, it's about mitigating risk. So I have a long-term play, right? So I haven't reallocated much other than that because I got a long-term play. So when I'm looking at my portfolio right now, when I bought into the dip, again, adjusted a little bit, put more money into the market. I bought into Amazon. So right now I'm up 6.63% on Amazon. Nvidia, I bought into that. I'm up 20.78% on that. Got into QQQ, so that is an ETF that does track technology. I'm up almost 12%, so 11.92. I bought into VOO, so that's the ETF for the S&P. So I bought into that, so I'm up 5.8% on that. And then I bought into a dividend ETF through Vanguard. So the ticker on that is VYM, and I'm up to 2.92%. So buying the dip has really paid off. I just bought the dip when I can, what I could, right? So whatever I could put in, and I didn't put a big chunk in, right? So what I did, because you didn't know how far the market was going to go. You didn't know how far it was going to go. You didn't know when it was going to bounce back. So in my mind, if I have, okay, I'm going to put $500 into the market, right? I don't need to put the whole 500 into the market. I would just put money here and there, here and there, here and there, until I got up to 500, whatever, however how much I put in, right? 500 is the easy number. So I bought into that, and then the market exploded. Backstory: we probably already know why the market kind of exploded. Trump laid off of his tariff plan, which gave consumers more confidence. These last couple CPI reports, things like that, unemployment reports, all those have been good. The labor market, all that has been good. So not many big changes on that, and it gives the investors confidence until the Middle East, tension. So people are buying out. So even yesterday, I bought into $10. I threw $10 into the market, right? So, but I'm giving myself a position because stocks are going to go up. I'm giving myself a position right now into these index funds and into a couple of companies. So as you heard, I only got 2 companies, Nvidia and Amazon. My next company I'm gonna look into is probably Palantir. They have been exploding. I'm gonna wait until I'll wait until a little bit till the market they have a little dip. So right now I think they were trading at, let me see, the price on Palantir was at, so right now it is at 139.96. So maybe I'll wait for it to see if it goes back into the 120s, maybe below that. Who knows? Who knows, right? So, but I'm gonna wait. Right now, I'm gonna put my money into VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, whether it's a couple dollars here or there, right? So I'm gonna keep throwing a couple dollars here or there, until I could get a dip in the market where I can buy into a position that I want. That's the thing. So I buy. The market dipped or the market crashed. I saw an opportunity. I don't know about you guys. I'm not selling out of crashes. Because then I'm selling at a loss. So why would I do that, right? So why would I sell at a loss? It doesn't make sense. The market goes back up 100% of the time. 100% of the time the market went back up. So why would I sell off when I know the market's going to go back up and I'll be able to sell off when I'm ready to sell off, when I'm at a better position, have more money into the stocks, have more shares to sell off, then rinse and repeat, right? So I'm just getting started for long-term investing. That's really all this is. It doesn't take much. Like I promised you, as you heard, I only got 2 companies because stocks are more likelihood to fail than VOO, because VOO tracks the S&P. When the S&P crashes, it comes back. So that's why I put most of my money right now into VOO until I can free up more money to put into other things, right? So when it comes to the stocks, my year to date, I am currently beating the S&P, which I want to at least keep up with the S&P. If I'm beating it, even better. And I'm actually kind of proud of myself from the research that I've been doing, because S&P is up year to date. So year to date, the S&P is up 2.9%. 4%. I am currently up 8.04%. That's the power of diversifying your portfolio, right? Now, stocks are really weird. Maybe what happens if I bought in and the companies I bought tanked, then I would be, probably soaring below the S&P. But that's why I bought into, bigger companies. I bought into a Nvidia. I bought into an Amazon. These are companies that are going to be around for a very long time, who are very innovative. Amazon's starting to get into the AI space as well, which is only going to help their company. Nvidia, you already know they're the leader of AI, and AI is basically the momentum right now. Let me get into it while I can. And I think Nvidia is going to be here to stay for a very, very long time. So just getting my positions now. We'll see what we're at in about 5 years or so. But between February 22nd last year to today, so I'm almost a year and a half mark, but halfway through the calendar year, 16.16% is what I'm up on my portfolio, right? So that can change tomorrow, that can go up tomorrow, that can go down tomorrow, it could tank. But as this recording of this video, between what I did last year and what I learned this year, I am currently up 16%. That's including the crash that we had. So that's the power of buying the dip. All right. So what's next? I don't know. I don't know right now. I mean, I have my goals in mind, of course. Pay off my debt. That's always a plus. That's always going to be a thing on top of my mind. I'm projected to pay off a student loan, how I mentioned earlier, in August or September, maybe late September. So that should free up some money when the baby comes. So I'm really excited to get that over with. So continue growing the business. So that's kind of my thing right now, is continue growing our business as much as we can. Continue learning, keep sharing the knowledge I'm learning, and just give back however I can. So for now, it's just trying to save, because I just feel like right now, with the tensions flaring in the Middle East, who knows what's going to happen. So just making sure I have a nice little cushion, just in case something does happen. I would even go as far as basic game planning for the next couple years, right? So maybe I don't have anything left on the docket for this year that I want to get accomplished outside of the having our child. Make sure we get a nice healthy delivery. But really, it's just kind of adjusting to that, right? So once I adjust to that, because I'm going to have to adjust my budget, so that's going to take me a couple months to adjust my budget. And so once I adjust to having 2 kids, then it'll give me a clearer picture of what I can do next. Definitely paying off some more debt with my performance bonus for sure. That's probably what all of it, if not most of it, is going to go to, is clearing that out. I've got a couple things here and there that I need to just get out the way, free up some money to start investing even more and start saving even more. So again, it's a journey. It's all about what you prefer. But if you do want to, get rich, if you want to, you deserve to be rich. Everyone deserves to be rich, and that's a great title to this book from EYL. So if you do want to end up getting rich and things like that, just know it takes time, it takes discipline, it takes effort, and it takes of getting over your fear. So, and money trauma. So I didn't want to take debt out for the business, right? I didn't want to do it, but to me, it's healthy debt, because the money that I make into the business can go back to that debt. And over time, once I pay that off, the goal is for the business to be a little bit bigger than where it's at now. So not only do I pay off that debt, I'm getting my investment back, right? And I'm making money more into the business. That's the idea when I think of debt. So again, didn't really have many talking points today. It was Juneteenth, so I definitely wanted to make sure I pushed out some content today. 100%. But the information I have is just basically what I've been personally doing the past couple months. Is there a better method to that? Sure, there is. Who knows? There probably certainly is. But it's been working for me. I'm still been able to put more money into my investments. Been able to match my 401k. So for right now, that's a good baseline. I just got whole health insurance not too long ago. So that way, over time, I'm trying to build a position to where I'm 40 or so where I don't need a bank. I'm going to borrow against myself. And it just takes time. So I'll be 28 next week. So, I just want to get to a position where I don't need to rely on a bank. I can rely on myself, and I understand it takes time. So that's why I'm not really reallocating or anything like that right now. That's why I'm just putting my money into VOO. That's why I'm putting my money into, this whole life insurance. I got in a really nice price because I'm so young. So that's something that I definitely recommend you all to do. I know some just say go with the term life insurance, which again, I felt like I was at the point where I'm so young, I can do this, and it's just going to build over time. Because people who usually first start investing is around 33 years old. So I just felt like, for me personally, the experts are saying to go term, but for me personally, I felt like whole was better because I got in at such a cheaper price. So just enjoy the journey. As you can see right here, the J. Cole sign, love yours, right? So, yeah, you always want more, but, just remember where you're at right now. Remember how you got there. Remember to cherish these times with your loved ones, with your kids, man, your family. And, when you get to the point where you are, you have abundance of wealth, then you can really enjoy your time and kick back. And that's my ultimate goal. Before I go, I just want to say, I was real nervous when I started my journey, right? I'm not going to lie, but I understood money trauma and me hoarding my money isn't going to get me where I want to go. And it was really hard to get started. Not only that, because, people who may be close to you may not understand what the research you're putting into, because that's not their cup of tea, which is fine. And then just trying to show, your significant other that, this is what you're doing. Because when you talk about money, it's a very emotional conversation for most. So both of us had to kind of go and say, like, we're in this together. As you guys heard me before, we do have, how we have our accounts structured. But in the day, we are in this together. So, I want to make sure they're taken care of. But the moves I made, I don't think I'll change it. I don't think I would change anything that I've done in the past year or so. So again, lost dollars, learns to learn lessons. The only way we're going to continue learning and growing is by experience. And just putting yourself out there. It's scary. It's so scary. But moving can be it can be frightening. Starting a new job can be frightening. And one thing about the market, it doesn't care what skills you have. It doesn't care what you look like. The market just tracks the market. So there's no discriminating in the market, right? So, it's just, there's a lot that goes out portraying it's bad. There's a lot going out saying that it can make you rich quick. I think both has extremist sides to it. I just think you need to educate yourself on your risk tolerance. I need to educate yourself on what you're going to get into. That's really all it is. If you educate yourself what you're getting into, the risks, you start to see the risks really mitigate and start going lower and lower and lower. So it's all just about being knowledgeable in what you're trying, in the space that you're trying to get into, and understanding the trends and everything behind that. So it's not just doing your research now, it's like the history of it. If you saw a company tank, back in, let's just say 2018, just for example, why did it tank? Did it get a new CEO? Was there a crazy lawsuit? Why did it tank? Why did it bounce back? Did it bounce back? Why didn't it bounce back? Use AI, use ChatGPT, use Copilot, Gemini, whatever platform you use it. It's there. It's a great tool. It gives you links and everything for you to fact check the information that's provided. I highly encourage anyone to use AI to really help in their investment journey, or just life in general. I know it's a scary topic, but you can use it to give you a better lifestyle. So I'll put it that way. So thank you all. Love and support again. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And I appreciate you guys every single day. So thank you.